crochet friends, it's me, Jonah, and I just finished these spring Easter mini crochet baskets, and I made these baskets because I'm in Wisconsin and it's really cold during the winter and I'm getting spring fever, so I asked my mom if I could make a new Easter project, and here it is. It is a great project because it is a stash buster project. You can use up all your scraps and they're so adorable, cute. I put eggs in mine. You can put jelly beans in yours or whatever you really want. Please make sure to put in the comments what you think you would put in your mini Easter baskets. And I prefer to use any worsted weight cotton, like this Lily Sugar and Cream, but you can also use acrylic. I prefer the look of cotton, but acrylic has a really nice sheen to it too. And you can just mix and match because it's a scrap busting project. And you use a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a darning needle. And this is a pattern that is great for beginners because it only uses half double crochet, and the person who made this pattern, her name is Rebecca Scott, and this is her pattern, and you can find it on Ravelry, and I'll be showing you how to make them because I think she did an amazing job designing this mini Easter basket pattern. So to start off, what you have to do is create a magic ring. So take your primary color that you'll be doing the most out of the base of, and then just unwrap a little yarn. And to work the magic ring, it can be difficult for beginner crocheters, but what you have to do is lay your yarn over your left hand and then kind of create like a scissors with two fingers pointing out and wrap your yarn around, creating an X, and grab it. And then take your hook and insert it under the first loop on your middle finger and catch the second one in the groove of the hook. And then slide that off your fingers backwards and you have a magic ring. Be careful not to let it get too loose or too tight. So our next thing we have to do is create a chain 1 and 10 half double crochet inside a magic circle before we cinch. So to chain 1, we yarn over around our hook, going around the back to the front, and pulling through. To do a half double crochet, which this is the one stitch for the entire basket besides the chain and the slip stitch for the top. You yarn over, just going around the back for the chain, and then insert inside that magic ring, pull up a loop, then yarn over, and pull through all 3 of these loops by catching that one string in that groove. That was one half double crochet right there. You can see the 2 strands like a single crochet and then the V and then the top loop. Yarn over, insert into that loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 2 half double crochet. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. That's 4. And that's 5. And by the time you're done, you're supposed to have 10 half double crochets inside your magic ring. And then once that's completed, I'll show you how to work your slip stitch. That was number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now if you want to make sure, you can count your half double crochets by turning your work to the side and using your crochet hook and counting each of these V's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's your 10 half double crochets, but we want to create a ring. So what we do is unwind our loop from the side here, and then just take this end and just drop it right down the center. And then just grab the strand from the bottom and just cinch it and pull it tight. You can use a little force because it's cotton and acrylic yarn, and those are generally strong yarns. And then we have to slip stitch to our first stitch. But that is our 10 half double crochets in the magic ring. So you take your hook and insert right into the top V right here that we counted as our stitch. There, we have this loop on our hook and then these 2 loops here from the half double crochet. Yarn over, pull back through. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. Do not yarn over, just pull over and back through. That was you just completed a magic ring and 10 half double crochet into that magic ring and cinched it, which is a great start for a beginner crocheter. Our next round is the chain 1, work 2 half double crochet into those V stitches. 1, 2. Into this first stitch, you just work them again in the same stitch. See closely? Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 1 in that stitch. And you work a second one right back into that same stitch. That's 4. And since we had 10 stitches to start, and we're working 2 in each stitch, which means for every stitch we're adding an additional stitch, so we go from 1 to 2, and then 10 for our beginning stitch times 2 means you'll have 20 stitches at the end of this round. And this round, you wouldn't count the tops. You would look at each stitch and see how they work around, and if you have 2 stemming out of the same stitch. And another thing about these baskets is that normally a regular worsted weight yarn would recommend a 5 to a 6 millimeter hook, but I'm using a 3.5 millimeter, and that's so you get really sturdy and tightly woven basket so that it's not all flappy and your handle is very sturdy and makes a great basket. Little over halfway through. 7 stitches left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There, you've done 20 half double crochets, and once you can just flip this over and go to the back and pull extra tight, and then that holder will be cinching up later. And you can see we have 20 half double crochet around with our first row right here, and then the second row. Now we're going to start by slip stitching back into the same first stitch right here, and you have 20 in the second row and 10 in the first. And then in the third row, which you have not yet completed, you'll have to have 30 stitches. We're going up incrementally by 10. Since we have 10 increases, we'll be at 10, 20, and then for 30, all you'd have to do is just work 1 half double crochet in this first stitch right here, 2 in the next, 1 in the next, 2, and in each of these increases, you would work 2 stitches, and I'll get you started on the third round. Okay, so I've come back around, and I've slip stitched, and I have 30 stitches in my round. And the next round is different because I'll be working in the back loops, and instead of incrementally, I'll be working 4 half double crochet, and then 2 in the same stitch. 4 half double crochet, 2 in the same stitch. So for these first 4, half double crochet, and then in the 5th one, 2. And then through the next 9, just 1 half double crochet, and then in the 10th, I will work 2. So you can see here, I'm just working 1 half double crochet, and these back loops right here that I told you that we'd be working into, I'll show you using my needle since it looks better and it's easier for you guys to see. There's 1 loop here, the front loop, facing you at the front, and there's the back one right here. And then if you turn it on half double crochet, and all stitches taller than a single crochet, there's this 3rd loop. But we want to go through this back loop, which when you just turn it, it's the one away from you at the back. So I just made my first half double crochet. I'm going to make a second one. And next I'm going to make 2 more. Three, 4. In the next stitch, I'm going to work 2 half double crochet. Next 4 stitches, I'm just going to work 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, work 2, there you go. So I've worked 4, 2, 4, 2, another 4. And this round, you won't count out the actual stitch count. You'll count out the number of 4, 2, 4, 2 around, and you should end on a 2 half double crochet. And then you'll have to slip stitch again when you get there. 3, 4, 2 half double crochet. This round right here tends to be the most difficult round for people who've never done it before, because you're not working through 2 loops. It's an added change that beginner crocheters have most likely not done before. But this is a pattern that's great for beginner crocheters all the way through advanced crocheters, because who doesn't love a beautiful set of mini Easter baskets when they get spring fever? We're going to work our next 4, 2, 3, 4. And another tip for you guys, you can either work with your work inside out like this or with your work out like this. It doesn't matter, it's the same, it's just whatever you prefer. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 more. And after this next done, I'm going to show you how to change color. And we'll be working a different repetition round. 4. There's 4. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And now we're going to be working a double stitch, which is 2 half double crochets in the back loop in our last stitch, because we had 4 for the start and we want to continue that beautiful round. Now we'll slip stitch into that first stitch. Then you'll just lay that down and you can see how it folds up and out. And now I'm going to show you how to change colors. So pull out color A, because this is your primary, A, B, C, and then you go back to your primary. But then again, remember, you can do 6 stripes all the way down to just monochromatic solid color. I chose to do 3 stripes in the center, along with my, of course, primary color, but you can choose however you'd like. Now I'll be showing you how to change color and how to work the basic part of your basket. So to change colors, you just kind of make a loop with your fingers. Just take the yarn, hold it down, take the yarn, just hold it down in the loop, push these two in like this until they meet, grab it, and then put that on your hook, and then kind of work your fingers up, and then pull through. See, nice and secure. Now we're going to lay this first strand over the second to kind of create security when we work our chain. And then we're going to do 8 half double crochet and 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 8 half double crochet, 2 in the next stitch around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and like I said earlier, now we're going to work 2 in this next stitch. And then after this, I'm just going to have to explain to you how to do repetitions, and then I'll meet you back at the top for working our handle and our last primary row. That was 2. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's what you'll have to continue doing around. Working 8, 2, 8, 2, 8, 2, 8, 2, working around. And then you of course have to slip stitch. And then to get these stripes on your basket, what you have to do is just work a plain row of half double crochet. And then repeat that 1, 2, 3 times. And you can do different colors or the same color, doesn't matter, but once you're completed with repeating that 1 half double crochet, all half double crochet row 3 times using your color of stripes all the way up to 6, I'll meet you back here and we'll work the top half double crochet row together, and then our handle and slip stitch, and then we'll be finished with the mini Easter baskets, and you can proudly put them on display. Okay, so now I'm working on my last row of the top, and it's just half double crochet around, and you can see how beautiful your colors look when they're sandwiched in between the primary. That's why we begin with the primary and end with the primary, and it creates, in my case, 3 beautiful stripes going down the center. And these are all 3 different colors, but I also like to sometimes sandwich my colors and have a primary, A, B, A, primary. But remember, you can do it however you'd like with any stripe sequence you prefer, whether it's just primary A and B or primary all the way through D. And right now, I'm just working my last half double crochet row, since it's best to work this one very slowly and to take your time, because this is the foundation for a good handle. Because if there's screw-ups and mix-ups on this row, it'll be noticeable because one side of your handle will be uneven. And a couple tips for you guys as I work this round is that if you don't like the size of these baskets, you can make them either smaller or bigger by, at the base right here, adding more increments and adding more stitches. And you can add height by just adding more of these repetitive rows, and then you can just sandwich even more colors inside. And then I'll show you how to make a bigger sized handle and how to reassure yourself that your stitches will be even and will not be offset. And then another tip is that make sure you're crocheting tightly. It makes you go a lot slower when you're crocheting tightly, but it works even though we've already gone down almost 2 millimeter hook sizes, which is a very big drop or decrease in crochet. It will make your project stand. And with these, I actually made 15 of them so far, but by the time I'm done showing you, I'll have 16. And I made 15 of them, and I'm giving them all to my classmates with these little chocolate candies inside because I love chocolate, especially milk chocolate. But you can make them for any occasion. They're perfect for little gifts. And they're, just so you know, since Mother's Day will be coming up soon, they're perfect to give a set of 15 to your mother. Just a tip. And I chose 15 because they look so beautiful when you have a big set, because you can make a pyramid of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that creates a really beautiful look when you have a pyramid going from 1 to 5. And why I chose a pyramid of 1 to 5 is because lots of people have big, beautiful wooden tables in their house, and this would create an amazing centerpiece, especially during the Easter and Advent season. And I'm just working around, making my half double crochets, making sure I'm working them tightly, and tension is important at this top row, and you can just make sure you have good tension by going slow and not being too tight or too loose. Here we are, we're just coming along. And another reason it shows a set of 15 is because odd number sets are just more appealing to me. Boom, down to 2 and 1. And slip stitch, and now it's time for the handle. 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors in here. Primary, ABC, primary. So we're going to start by chaining 35. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. And now that we have our handle, we're going to skip 20 stitches and slip stitch and then work in 2 different sections, going up and around, fastening off, joining, and going up and around again. Okay, just put all your ends inside because we've worked over them, so you'll be able to just cut them off and count off 20 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then going to 21. And then just slip stitch. And then we're just going to keep slip stitching around and make sure you're doing this extra tight. And that's how it pulls in on the top and really secures whatever you have inside. And it just creates a really beautiful overall look and creates this arrow that we're looking for. That arrow right there. Just work your beautifully even slip stitches across the top, making sure to go through only the top loops and not through these gaps right here, right there. You want to go through the top. Keep stitching across. And then we're going to have to work 35 extra stitches and repeat that on the other side. Okay, now we're just going to slip stitch up through this chain. Just going into the top loop like you would with crochet. And this shrinks the chain down. So if you want a higher chain, make sure that you don't add too many more chains because it does shrink down a notable amount. And now we're just going to keep slip stitching across our chain. Just going nice and slowly, nice and slowly. You see how it creates these bigger loops on the other side? That's what we'll be working into the second time. You'll just have to keep working across like so, making sure you catch all of the stitches. Just keep slip stitching across. Slip stitch right here, slip stitch. Three left, and then you'll have to repeat the same thing across the other side. Pull out your yarn, snip that. And what you'll have to do is just work that same thing across the other side. And then once you're completed with that, just working the exact same thing, you'll have to flip your work inside out. And then this bottom one, we have to be so careful with. This bottom strand, right here, just pushing all your other ones out of the way. You have to be so careful with, because it is your beginning strand, and if this one comes loose, your whole project's going to break, and it's going to break in the worst spot possible from the center, and then it'll just keep unraveling from the bottom up, and everything will fall out. So what we're going to do is thread our yarn through our needle. A great tip that I learned from Bella Coco, who has her own YouTube channel, and she's a very good crocheter, is you just kind of create a loop like this, put it underneath your fingers, put your top of your hook inside, and then just grip it down at the bottom, and then just, since it's going to be that size, you can just kind of wiggle it over the top, and it works every time, even when threading thread through a very tiny needle. It works every time, and I learned that tip from Bella Coco. Sometimes with cotton it's a little more difficult, but it always works. And this kind of needle I have right now, it's one that is sort of a bent but curved top, so you can really pick up your stitches nicely. So See? Now I can go through the bottom stitch. Just like so. Work through these. It's a little fiddly at first, but you want it to be secure. Those are my words. You want it to be secure. And another tip I've learned from all my crocheting is that when you come through, it's best to go back to the same stitch, and it creates like an invisible knot because you continue weaving around it. There, that's secure. That will never come out. You can just pull it out and snip it. And these other strands here, you can just go ahead and snip them off, because what we did is we worked over them. That's why you can see they're at different distances. That's because we just worked over them a different number of stitches. So you can just go ahead and snip them all off. And then once you've done that, you can just push everything off to the side. And then once you've completed that, you have, once you just flip it back outside and make sure you have all your ends put in, clipped off. And this one I like to hook through. You can see how our handle, it's starting to shape. You can see our handle is shaping. But for this last strand, the best way to weave it through is to just weave it up through the hook and then go back and forth across this handle. Back and forth, up and down, back and forth, up and down, back and forth. And you can just snip that. And on the other side, you can see how beautifully it works and looks. And then at the bottom here, we have our thing, and it's all secure. And then it works up into a beautiful basket. And then another thing I wanted to show you is that, like on this one, you see how it has much of a sheen and it reflects the light? That's acrylic. But this one, it's cotton, and it doesn't have as much of a sheen, but it has a very different feel to it. And cotton's a little sturdier for a basket. And that's why I particularly enjoy cotton. And remember, these are a really simple pattern by Rebecca Scott on Ravelry. And on that note, this is one of my new shirts. It's about bringing the world together through crochet one stitch at a time. And this is the bright yellow color. And I also have a beautiful tangerine color too that looks great with this color combo and brown hook. And you can find that on my website, jonahhands.com, along with lots of other Jonah's Hands merchandise to help support my business. And you can also on my website donate to my GoFundMe for Roots Ethiopia and check out what I've been up to lately. Thank you so much for watching my mini Easter crochet basket tutorial. And goodbye and crochet away, friends.